Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In our today's video in Think and Design in GCP video series, the question is something like this. Customer wants to run a set of SQL queries from the BigQuery data set programmatically using BigQuery, and the Python script will be executed in a compute engine. So immediately you'll come to know, or like, this requirement looks very similar to TerramEarth's case study. Yes, it looks very much similar to TerramEarth's case study. So I wanted to be on the same line. So by this way, you will understand a new feature in compute engine and interacting with BigQuery, and also you will get to know how to answer questions in TerramEarth. It's like two options or two useful things you'll come to know by looking into this video. And the most important thing in this question, which I feel, is the customer wanted to implement this entire requirement, which is more future proof, something like which will work today and which will work for a good amount of time. So basically what customer is trying to say is the implementation should be using generally available products, not using beta products and not using products which is legacy. So that is what the customer is trying to convey. As usual, I have a solution which is one of the possible solutions, I would say, which is not the best solution. And if you have a better solutions, please put that in the comment section. So with that background, let's go into the solution. So for people who are viewing this video for the first time, just a recap. As I mentioned, TerramEarth case study, which is one of the important case study from the exam perspective. In that case study, there's a requirement which is exactly, or I would say like 90% same as what we are discussing today. So to do this entire activity, I don't want you to write a new code. So what I thought is, I just Googled a GitHub page, which is official GitHub page from Google, where they have a Python client for BigQuery, and they have a small snippet of code which does a select statement from a BigQuery public data set, and it will just output it. Very simple code, but by doing this, you'll try to understand the entire concept, how a virtual machine can connect to a BigQuery and how it can query. So it's a nice example, I would say. And for this small snippet of code to work, you need to install certain modules. First of all, you should have Python. That's a basic thing. Then you need to have pip, and then you need to install this Google Cloud BigQuery module. So these are all the stuffs which you need to do before you run the snippet. So to make my life simple and to make the demo faster, what I have done is I have created a template, instance template. So if I click on that instance template, what I have done is I have added all those things in a startup script. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you should see the startup script where I update the operating system, then install my pip. Once I install Google Cloud BigQuery module, followed by Git, usually because in the Linux machine Git will not be installed. And why I'm installing Git is I have copied this entire code and created a repository in my GitHub page. So this is the thing, so that it's very simple. I don't need to copy paste all those things. I can just clone it and make the demo faster. So those are stuffs. And I also wanted to show you how different ways you can make your startup script. What are the various ways of creating your startup scripts based on your requirement. So that's all the need. So we have this template. What we'll do is we'll try, and if you see here, because this is cloud like this is between your Google Cloud compute engine and BigQuery. One of the important thing which you need to do is the access scope. And if you see, we have, if I just, yeah, if I just see the access scope in the template, BigQuery is disabled. So if you would have seen the TerramEarth's case study video, then definitely you will say this has to be enabled. What we'll do is we'll enable this when we are creating our virtual machine. So we'll not use the normal way of creating virtual machine. What we will do is we will try to use the template one, because it makes the life simple. You can create, we will not use this option, but we'll use this option, create new instance with the template, and we see that template, click on create. What we'll do is we'll give a name. So just remove this access scope. Let me just put a hyphen there to make it very clear, and everything would be pre-populated. Compute engine default service account, click on set access scope. BigQuery by default is turned off. Enable this. Only then these two servers can interact, the compute engine and your BigQuery. So that is the thing. And if you see your startup script, it should be definitely there because it is getting it from its instance template. Looks good. So if things are all good, under /opt/demo, there should be a file called bigquery.py because that is my file name in the repository. So all good. Now with that background, let me click on create. All right, the instance has been created. Now let's SSH into it and then run that Python script. So we have successfully logged into the machine. Now what we'll do is, if just to check whether the script has run successfully or not, the startup script, just go to your /opt/dev and see whether the file exists. Yes, it exists. Now it's only a matter of running this Python program. So let me run this /opt/demo /BigQuery. If things are all fine, it should get the output of the names. That's what the query looks like. So it gets the names. So we are able to successfully query BigQuery from our compute engine using a Python program. So this is option number one, which I have. So today I have two solutions. Let me show you both the solutions. Now let me just close this. Let me create one more time instance. This time, instead of using default service account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom service account. So for that, before creating the VM, let me go and create a service account. So to just read the data from BigQuery. So let me read it, create a service account called Python BigQuery. So that should be good enough. So click on create, and once it gets created, you need to give a specific role. Since I'm just going to do a select command, what I'll do is I'll give the least privilege. So BigQuery job user should be good enough for me to query it. Click on continue, and at the end click on done. So once it is created, you see that BigQuery, that service account is created. What we'll do here is we'll create an instance using the template again, but this time will not use the default service account, but we'll use that new service account which we just created. So I'm just going to change this as custom service account. So this should be good enough. So the most important thing which I need to change here is click on this and select my service account. The moment you select a custom service account, access scope gets removed. And for people who have not explored access scope, if you just click on default service account and click on this option, click on this learn more option, you will land into this page where you will see all the details of it. So we'll come to that in a minute or so, but let's finish this part. So let me use the custom service account which I created, and my startup script should be definitely there, but to be on the safer side, let's just verify it. All good. So what is the change which we have done? We have given a name which is very apt. It's going to use custom service account. Then we have selected that service account. The moment you select it, you don't have any control to your access scope. It's all controlled using your IAM. Then the startup script is already there. Looks all good. Let's click create. Alright, the virtual machine is created. Let's SSH into it and do the same activity and see whether it is working or not. And once it works, we'll just come to a conclusion what option should we use, because there are two solutions. So which solution should be the right one? We'll try to decide it once we finish the execution of this program. So let's verify the file is there or not. As usual, demo, and if you hit, you should see that file. Now let me clear the screen and try to run it. So to just check what is the service account used, you can just do gcloud auth list just to verify it. What's the thing? You see that it is using our service account, the one which we created. Now just run this program /opt demo BigQuery, and if things are all fine, you should get the same output. Let's wait for the output to come. I'm not going to pause the screen. I just wanted to leave it live here. All good. So it's working fine. So we have two solutions, one using default access, or like one using access scope with default service account, another one using custom service account. Now, if you just go back to the requirement, the requirement says, so I would say we have fulfilled everything, but the last sentence wanted to implement this requirement which is more future proof. That could be a tiebreaker. So let's see which one is more future proof. Now, when it comes to the future proof, all those things, you should definitely look into the documentation. Cloud IAM, I would say that's one of the future proof stuff. The reason why I'm saying that is we had opened up this link, right, the access scope. And if you see the access scope documentation, it says that access scopes are legacy method of specifying permissions for your VM instances. Legacy. So that is the important word here. And it says access scopes are not security mechanism. So it should be always recommended if you are giving some access, it should be always using your cloud IAM. So that's the best option. Even Google suggests the same thing. And this could be a tiebreaker for us. Access scope, meaning when will you use access scope? When you are using your default service account. So if I just show you a quick demo, the only default service account can use uh, access scope. If you have created any custom service account, they cannot use it. So let me show you that again. You see this is default service account. Only then you will see this access scope. The moment you select something else, it goes away and it shows you need to control it using your cloud IAM. So going back to the requirement, so if it has to be future proof, then definitely using custom service account is the best choice, I would say. So that is one of the possible solutions which I have found out based on the two solutions which I had. Using the custom service account is one of the good solutions. So if you have a better solutions, please let me know that in the comment section. Thank you for watching.